What's up, YouTube? So I'm selling my Summit Audio DCL-200. It's a dual compressor limiter. I initially got it back in 2013 to use in my vocal chain. I was going Universal Audio Solo 610 into this Summit and then directly into my DAW. Then I ended up doing vocal bus grouping with it, parallel compressor. Basically getting rid of it now. I'll tell you why. It's a great piece of gear. It's a little bit too British sounding for me, and I've only ever used it on vocals. It gives a nice top-end clarity for vocals. It's really clear. In fact, here's an example from one of my releases with my wife. Basically why I'm selling it is this morning I watched a product video on the Moog DFAM, which is the drummer from Another Mother. It's basically the start to the Euro rack system, and I have a feeling I'm gonna get all that and dive into the Euro rack. It's something that's interested me for a long time. This Summit has just been sitting for the past 2 years, not being used because I haven't done much vocal work in the past 2 years. It's freshly been retubed and probably has less than 10 hours of use on the tubes that are in there currently. The pros for this thing are its British sound. While I'm not a fan of kind of a British top-endy sound, if that's what you're looking for guitar groupings, drum bus stuff, this is actually really great. It limits lovely without actually doing much to the waveform. I'll show you an example of that later. The present high end is great. There's no low end distortion whatsoever. Really clean, really transparent, and like I said, brand new tubes in there. Should be good to go. Now, the only cons for this guy are it's from England, so pin 3 is hot as opposed to pin 2. Because of that, in the back end there are 4 phase reverse adapters. Unfortunately, you have to use those phase reverse adapters to switch pin 3 to pin 2. It's a minimal thing. The only other con is this link here does not really work. You just have to be very careful between channel 1 and channel 2 to make sure that the settings are consistent. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. Because of that, I'm kind of setting the asking price a little lower than most other used Summits. Just shoot me a message and I'll let you know what the price is and we'll go from there. Let me give you a little demonstration of the sound and clarity of this.
Okay, so what I'm basically going to do is take my Korg MS-2000 and route a stereo bass signal in through channel 1 and 2 of my machine audio interface. I'm doing this through the Summit. I have all the parameters set equal for each side. And I'm going to send 3 different octaves through the compressor. That way we can get a recorded waveform version of each one. There you go. And then what we'll do is we'll match the size of each channel. We'll move to the second stereo pair, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the same 3 octaves into my DAW, but bypassing the Summit altogether. Now you'll see that the gain level is significantly a bit lower because of what the Summit's doing. But there's still a way we can compare these. I'm just going to go through and kind of align these guys so that visually they make more sense. Then I'm going to adjust the gain to be visually as close as I can to the other DCL signal. So on the bottom you see our dry signal, and in the top you see our compressed effective signal. Now let's play the raw signal first. We'll meet that guy and play the DSL compressed version. Now when I'm testing gear like this, what I like to do is take it down to the waveform level. And if you compare both waveforms on all 3 octaves, you'll see very minimal difference. The second octave is the only one that shows any sort of rounding in the compressed signal, which is fairly slight. In the high and low octave, it's barely even noticeable. I do this often just to see if my tubes are working fine, if my noise floor is okay. Hope that was helpful.